Hi, my name is Jamie. I live in Saudi Arabia and I like to do my makeup, and I have a huge collection and it just keeps growing. It just keeps happening. Today I'm gonna talk about not an unboxing, like I'm less cool than I want to be about that because yesterday I filmed a whole unboxing and then I was editing it and I hated the whole entire thing. I hated the video, I hated it. So I deleted all of the footage and I'm gonna do it again. Because, I don't know, I just didn't like the lighting. Nothing was that good. I spent the entire video like this, which is not helpful. Whatever. So anyway, yes. And I'm trying out yet another angle for makeup doing. Yeah. So anyway. Let's actually talk about the makeup that I got, which is the entire point of anything. So this is a new brand to me. I'm sure you've heard of it, and none of these palettes are new, but I had never tried the brand before, and I was really curious, and yeah, I'm sure you're all familiar with it, but it is Oden's Eye, and I got 2 palettes and a brush cleaner. So I've already opened up the brush cleaner. It looks like this. It's cute. And then this is the back. It's cute. And yeah, and I also picked up the Saga of Freya Cat's Breath palette, which is what I ended up filming yesterday. And in a nutshell, this color story is interesting. I enjoyed the palette. I did have a problem with this shade being pretty flaky, the Wool Ball kind of duochrome shimmer. It was a little flaky for my taste, but the look turned out okay. Like I said, the video to me turned out clunky and the look was only okay. So here we are. We're gonna try this again. I liked the formula with the exception of that shimmer shade, but even then it wasn't like terrible. And I also picked up the Alva2 palette, which is kind of reminiscent of a rainbow palette. It has a couple of pressed glitters in it, which I know some people really, really hate, but I think it's cute. So yeah, I haven't tried this palette yet. I think this is the one that I'm gonna use today. I'm really, really interested in it. There's a lot of things going on here that I like. And yeah, so that's kind of my thought process. Also, look at this blue. Look at this gorgeous blue. The Alva2 palette was 113 Rial, this palette. And then the Saga of Freya Cat's Breath palette was 100 Rial. And also I had to get it because cat. And it's also what, dedicated. It says, to all the cats in the world. My cats lately. Yeah. Hi, Yoda. They've been terrors, actually. Every night at 11 p.m., they decide to, like, brawl. Like, hissing, spitting, rolling around, jumping on top of each other, brawling. Just straight wilding out. My cat that, it's a long story. So my cat that I have had for a few years now, his name is Max, and I actually brought him with me from Egypt. But Max, who I've had for a few years, is a little bit out of shape about having to share his space, having to share his mommy. And when he is angry, he expresses that anger by taking a shit in the shower. And there have been a shit per day in the shower for the last like 3 days. Love that for me. So yeah, I'm trying to decide and decipher the source of his anger and try to alleviate it somehow. And it has probably everything to do with this second cat in a 1-bedroom apartment. Anyway, let's go ahead and discuss the Alva2 palette. I have more ideas for the Cat's Breath palette, but I think I want to try out this Alva2 palette today. So let's get started. I've already primed, put on my foundation, put on my eyebrows just to give it all a little bit of structure and not waste time. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, I think I am organized, ready to go. So my plan, I'm not gonna do a blue-green look today, sorry. I'm gonna go in first with Peach Juice as my transition shade, and then I'm gonna deepen up the outer corner with Coffee. So Peach Juice is this really pretty matte, and yeah, I think I'm gonna stick to kind of these 4 shades today. Yeah, what I am noticing right now is that there is not a dark shade to really deepen up anything, but maybe that's not the biggest crime. It's a little bubblegummy. Dipped into Peach Juice. Okay, now today I'm not, watch me, I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna do this, okay? Yeah, so that just went right down. I think I could probably blend it out with a more yellow color. It's a little opaque. Ooh. I may need to blend that out with like a clean blending brush. Yeah. I'm gonna take this, I don't know that this is the right brush. I'm gonna kind of blend out this situation. It's a little much. There we go. Just diffuser it out. Okay, there. We're awake. Yep, we're here. We see you, lady. Okay, next. So I did clean this brush off with my new, this thing, and it was definitely in blue, like a blue yesterday. So as you can see, yeah, that brush cleaner did what it was supposed to do. So I'm gonna dip into Coffee, that brown shade. I'm gonna set that down in my outer corner and then kind of bring it through in the crease. This is a really pretty tone. This is a really pretty tone. It's not purple, it's not brown. It looks brown in the pan, but when it's interacting with this peach shade, especially, it's looking much more purple, which is cute. Yes. And the shadow isn't creasing in my outer corner like some other shades have from other brands, so that's good. Oh, I should also mention that both these palettes have a 36-month shelf life, and they're cruelty-free, which I am way impressed with. Like, yeah. The palettes were relatively inexpensive, you know, and then the shelf life is that long. Like, that's solid, you know? They just came out with a new collection that was but designed, whatever, by influencers, and I don't think I'm gonna pick up anything, but I can appreciate it for what it is. You know what I mean? So now I'm gonna go in to this copper red, shimmer. Wow, that was, wow, soft, very soft. So I picked up this much on the brush, and then I went into this shade. I'm a little worried that it's gonna be a bit dark, but we'll see. Oh, that's pretty. That brown purple did not kind of blend that well. I've gotta kind of fix it into my inner corner, but that's kind of not unusual and probably more user error than anything. But anyway, back to this copper red shade. I know this isn't like the most revolutionary eye look, but you know, whatever, shut up. That's such an interesting tone. I really like it. Yeah, I really like this. Now, I almost want to take a little bit of the peach juice and mix it with apricot, and kind of blend up at the top. I might just keep what's on the brush of peach juice and go in gently with apricot. And a lot of it is kicking off when I smack my brush on that thing. Oh yeah. Huh. Oh. I don't know if you can see it, but it's rather subtle and rather pretty in person. It's looking a little heavy. Not in a bad way, but just like I want it a touch lighter. I'm gonna go in with Crystal, and I'm gonna I'm going to go in with Crystal, and I'm gonna place that a little bit on the inner third of my eye, just to sort of lighten it up a little bit, and you know, use the palette a bit more. Cleaning off my brush again. Well, no glitter. Again, I kind of just am gently swirling my brush in, and it's picking up quite a bit. There is a teeny bit of fallout. Yes, yes, that's what I wanted. Okay. It's not wildly different. I'm trying to brush out that fallout on this side. I'm gonna swatch out some of these glitters and see which one I wanna do. So Pink Star looks real nice, but I also really like Pop Rocks. And, oh, it's real glittery though. Do I want glitter today? So, I don't know if you can see. This is Pink Star and this is Pop Rocks. I almost want to say Pop Rocks. Like just kind of right in the middle, just for a little zhuzh, you know? I'm just gonna go in with my fingertip. And I'm going to gently put it in the middle, just for some intrigue. I know people really hate pressed glitters. And in fairness, these are pretty large pieces of glitter. I don't have like the same level of distaste for them. I do not want to go blind. I'll make that clear. But I don't know. That's really pretty. You know, it makes things look like a sparkle party. Like, I'm not mad about that. I'm gonna go back in to Coffee, and I'm gonna go back and sort of deepen things up a bit, just a bit, if I could. I'm motivated to do a wing liner in black. So I'm gonna do that and I'll be back. Okay, so this is how it's looking. I popped on some lashes and did a little wing liner, and I'm gonna go back in and do a little work on the lower lash line. You get it, whatever it's called. So I think I'm gonna go back in with Coffee. These mattes are so soft. So as I was doing my liner, I did notice a teeny tiny bit of creasing in my outer corner. And it wasn't terrible, but a little disappointing. But these, like I said, these mattes are very, very, very soft. And something I'm noticing right now is that when I do my lower lash line, the colors almost seem patchy to me, but these aren't. There's a little bit of fallout through here, which I'm gonna have to correct a bit, but in general, it's fine. So I'm gonna go back into a little bit of peach juice, tints, just a taints, and kind of just work that in. That's still blending out really pretty. Like I said, I've always kind of thought that like my lower lash always looked a bit patchy and not super blended and pretty like it could be, but this is being not that way. So that's good. So, I know that seems like arbitrary, but you know, if I had just done it, then you might be like, but you didn't show us that. So I did. You're welcome. I'm gonna go ahead and finish my makeup and finish everything up, and then I'll give you the rundown and tell you what I think. Okay, I'll be back. So this is the finished overall look. I'm really happy with it. And I mean, look at that. That's so pretty. The Oden's Eye Alva2 palette, I think performed really, really great. I am really excited to use this again. I enjoyed the color story, and the more I kind of dipped into the palette, the more ideas I had, which is always a good sign for me. I don't like feeling boxed in any particular way. And that's actually kind of what I didn't like with the Saga of Freya palette. I sort of feel boxed in by the color story, and while it's a bold choice and it is interesting, I just kind of feel like there's only so many things that I can do, and especially with that color story being what it is, like kind of a blue-green with an orange, like if you try to blend those together, it's gonna look like mud. So on the one hand, I enjoy the contrast that it's striving for, but then in terms of like application, it looks like a little sketchy. So I am gonna retry this. I am gonna film it and see what I think. I think that there's still things that one can do, but in terms of like a more usable, user-friendly palette, it's 100% this one. There's no question. And again, these are not like shades that everyone would be, you know, okay with using. But the more I kind of got into it, the more like, for instance, this coffee color, this, which is the darkest shade, I think could pretty much go with anything in this palette. This one shade I think could probably work with all of it. And that's kind of what I'm talking about, is that you shouldn't feel boxed in necessarily. So like, for instance, what I'm kind of thinking about doing next, and that's the other thing too, is that like when you're using a palette, it's nice to think to yourself, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do next with this? Like, ooh. But what I'm gonna do next, I think, is try like this shade with this shade with this shade with, you know, maybe some of these greens. I really think actually that this kind of purpley tone would go well with these greens. So yeah, like that's what I'm saying in a nutshell. So as goes the performance, this was great. This was really easy. It all kind of blended together, and that is just what you want. Like I said, I'll go ahead at some point and refilm this one, but this was a little trickier. So my kind of overall impression of the brand is pretty solid, like I said. I'm a little intimidated by some of their color stories. Where that is my criticism. The advantage of this is that the quality is really nice. So it's worth trying out. It's worth experimenting with. I would recommend this palette, and I'm actually interested now in the first Alva palette because it's a very warm tone palette with a lot of like oranges and pinks and reds and stuff. Or not reds, but like you get it. Oh, and I should talk about my shipping experience. I kind of forgot to get into that. I placed this order on September 30th and it did not arrive until November 17th. But what I think happened is my original package got lost in the mail. And I reached out to Oden's Eye, and they were really, really good, very communicative about what they were going to do next in the event that like it didn't reach me by a certain time frame. And then they resent the package, and it made it here within a couple of weeks. So I was not, you know, thrilled that it took that long, but also I can see how the brand was not at fault, first of all, and then they really did a good job of making sure that I got my order, and I actually got a personal email from them when it was received by the courier, so that then I could get in contact with the courier and have it delivered. So that was a really positive customer service experience for me. Nobody ever likes for that to happen, but in terms of how they handled it, couldn't have been better. Was amazing. So the other thing to note is that they do provide free international shipping for a certain quantity. However, they did not have a time for, like, they didn't have a time frame as a shipping estimate for Saudi Arabia, but that just doesn't matter, you know? Like, I have no idea generally when things are gonna arrive. It could be in 2 days, it could be 54 days. I never know, really. Like, Colourpop orders take a solid 60 days sometimes, and it's aggravating. It's aggravating as hell. But also, like, to note, like, Colourpop does not ship to Germany. Like, it gets stuck in customs every single time. I'm actually sort of interested in looking into more brands that are like indie brands that are in the EU, because it would just be closer and just be easier, and it would be easier to pass through customs. So if anybody knows any European indie brands that I really need to look at, then yeah, please let me know. Like I said, Beauty Bay is pretty good about shipping here, but is anyone else sort of looking at Beauty Bay and thinking it's sort of tired? Because that's how it looks to me. I don't know. Anyway, if you enjoyed this type of video, thanks for watching. If you want to hang out with me in Saudi Arabia, talk about boys, talk about being an expat, talk about makeup, whatever, please like and subscribe, or at least think about it. At least give me a thumbs up, you know. I can only assume that if you watch anything from me, you just legitimately like makeup, because it's not like this is the most advanced filming technique. So yeah, legitimately, like, I think that if you like makeup, we have things to talk about. Yay! So anyway, I hope you have a good day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!